last year's stuff that you guys found. You just don't have anything else.
Okay, we're live. We're live.
Okay, we'll call the September 14th Village of Mount Sterling Council meeting to order at whatever time it is.
7:07.
7:07. Sorry for the delay. We have a roll call, please.
David?
Here.
Melanie? Here. Craig?
Here.
Becky?
Here.
Jay? Andy?
Here.
Okay. Do we have a motion to excuse Jay for this meeting?
I'll make that motion. Second.
That was Craig and then David. Roll call?
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yeah.
Motion's passed.
Okay. I found a little passage I'd like to read for the prayer tonight, if that's okay with everyone. Country's going through a lot of stuff right now, and we've seen fires, we've had corona up to our necks or heads or whatever, and I know we're all tired and we're weary, and we personally have some friends out in Oregon that I'm very, very worried about, and she deals with fire. She's a dispatcher for the 4th Street Division, and I just worry for her daily, but I found a passage that I thought I would like to read, if that's okay. It's called Hope. If you only carry one thing throughout your entire life, let it be hope. Let it be hope that better things are always ahead. Let it be hope that you can get through even the toughest of times. Let it be hope that you are stronger than any challenge that comes your way. Let it be hope that you are exactly where you are meant to be right now, and that you're on the path to where you are meant to be. Because during these times, hope will be the very thing that carries you through. Okay, we'll stand and touch.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, everyone should have gotten the minutes from the council meeting held on August 24th, 2020. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
You have that motion? I'll second.
That's Andy and then Craig.
Roll call?
Yeah.
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And I'll pass this around so you guys can capture the signature.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to Mayor's report. I only have just a couple of things. Just a reminder that the census people are still out and about. They have until the 30th of the month to finish the census and then start working on all the data. So if you've not turned in your census form, please do so. Please call. You can go to 2020census.gov if you need any help. Also, voting. They'll be doing absentee ballot applications, and they'll start sending the ballots out officially October 6th. And if you have any questions about that, you can go to the Board of Elections office, which is, the email is madison@ohiosos.gov, or the phone number 740-852-9424. And that's all I have right at the moment. That takes us to President Pro Tem report. Becky?
Yep, I don't have a lot. I'll just piggyback off what Marcy said about the census. The reason the census is so important that you fill out is because we get different funding and grant opportunities, and all based on the population of our village. So it's not just another one of those bothersome things and the government's trying to dip into your business. It really does help your community out with those funds. So if you haven't done it, like Marcy said, get it done before the 30th. It's really quick online too. If you have that availability, it probably only takes 5 minutes. Just again, off of what Marcy said, the COVID thing is it's hard to get away from. I mean, we were just talking in another meeting about, you're walking up to your grocery store of choice and you get all the way to the door and you forgot your face mask and you got to run back to the car, and it is definitely different times right now, and a little bit frustrating and overwhelming at different times. So, I just urge people, don't live in fear, be safe, do all the protocol everyone is suggesting that you do, but, we have to keep on living our lives, and it was really good to see a couple of weeks ago, we had a little downtown shop hop, and there were a lot of community members out shopping and visiting and going to the food trucks, and everyone was being really safe about it and having a lot of fun. So I just encourage you to, don't isolate yourself. Human interaction is essential, and if you do need any help with anything, physically, emotionally, financially, reach out to the town hall, and we can try to direct you to somebody that can help.
Definitely.
So that's all I have.
Yeah, definitely. That's good. That takes us to public comment and visitors. We have Mr. Larry Kitchen here this evening from 312 Yankeetown asking for a rezoning of his property from commercial to residential. Oh, it's on here as Larry. Oh, okay, Larry, we'll adjust that on the agenda. Ted Kitchen, I am sorry. So would you like to come up and to one of the microphones here and talk about the request? And Tom's here to help.
Yeah, we may need you to come up here so we can get you on the record.
So, Mr. Kitchen made a request to us to build a room addition. So in doing his zoning application, it was discovered that the last known map that the village had for zoning gave an indication he was in a B1 district, which would not allow him to build a room addition. And so then he was encouraged by me to go visit Planning Commission, make application to them, and switch his zoning from a B1 to R3. We're actually going to an R3. So that's his request, and it's been through Planning Commission, and I believe approved by Planning Commission. This map has recently been redone for the village. It is not complete. Planning Commission next month will review it and start working on the changes, but Ted's property was one that brought to light, maybe there may be some other issues in the village that need to be addressed, but he wants to go from a B1 commercial district to an R3 residential district so he can build his room addition.
Does anybody have any questions for either Tom or Mr. Kitchen?
And his property is right here if you can see it.
So are you just asking us tonight to approve it, or?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Why was it originally commercial anyway, basically, Tom?
Dave, I cannot answer that.
Okay.
All we're going on is the only data that the village has, and he did a lot of research, and we communicated back and forth together, but we cannot find why it was done that way. He lives across the street from a business district, we know, but somewhere along the way back in history, there was a designation made, and the only thing we could ask him to do is go through the formal process and have council consider the request to change it, so that he can, live in an R3 district, which gives him the ability to do with his home what he wants to do.
Okay. Would that just be by motion?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we do rezone it to a residential.
And I'll second that. The commission, or the committee, was extremely supportive of this, and we think we need to get it done.
Very good. Could we have a roll call then, please?
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Motion has been passed.
Thank you, Mr. Kitchen.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
That takes us to executive session, which we do not have this evening. And now to department reports. We'll start with Mr. Dill for the sheriff's report.
Okay, I passed out your printout.
You might have a copy. You have a
I put one at the desk.
Give her that one. Jay doesn't need it. There you go.
Here's one here, Jack.
Give you a second to sit down in your chair. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I do want you to go down to where it says theft. In those thefts, I think it is. Oh, no, I'm sorry, stolen vehicles. There's 2 of them on there. And those both were taken the same night, at the same time, off of Wingate. It was a Sunday night, Monday morning, right after the holiday. The individuals involved, I know 2 of them are from the east side of Columbus. The reason we know that, one's an 18-year-old, one's a 16-year-old. They were getting ready to rob a Donato's, and they had the stolen car with them. So that car's been recovered. I haven't heard if the other one's been recovered yet, but they were both seen in the same area on East Livingston Avenue, both cars. So that puts us, they're from the east side of Columbus.
Will they all the way down here? Will they
Well,
be
that's-
prosecuted in Franklin County, or will they be coming back to Madison?
They'll be in Franklin County. You got Deer Creek down here. Holiday weekends, you get all your Columbus people coming down through here. So you get some that like to go shopping, and Mount Sterling's just right on the way.
Hey, Jack, could some of this be gang-related from Columbus, maybe?
I'm not going to speculate on if
Okay.
it's gang related or not,
Okay.
but we do know that's where they're from.
Okay.
So
So the suspicious persons that you have down here, I mean, that's a pretty high number, 9. Is that something that you guys observe yourself, or people are calling in, or a combination of both?
both. Most of the time it's the deputy initiating the contact with the individual, but like one of them was the census worker, or not the census worker, but it was the census worker that's going around, and
Was that yesterday?
yes, yeah. So
That's what we thought was going on, yeah.
yeah, and that's perfectly fine. We'll take those calls all day long. Just call us.
Sure.
That's what we need.
You don't know if you don't know, right?
Right. And to make everybody happy and feel better about themselves, because this is a rough world we're living in. And if you're unsure, don't hesitate to call us. That's our job. That's what we get paid to do.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Jack?
I was just curious, there's some really vile stuff on Facebook right now about a predator and an incident in town involving
I
children.
don't know if it was reported to us. If it wasn't reported to us, it's just Facebook gossip.
But he actually went to jail, and he's been,
I don't know if he did or not.
No, he did.
Did he?
yeah, but then he's been released. So the sheriff's department's not aware of that, or?
Well, I'm sure they are, but I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I've been out of town all weekend, so since Thursday night, so I'm not up to speed. It's happened after I went out of town, so. But if it's been reported to us and he went to jail and he's out on bond, that's the judge's decision, not ours. But I'm sure he's going to be, the Adult Parole Authority will be closely watching him as well as our office. When I get back, they'll let me know.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
That takes us to our law director, and we don't have a report from him, do we?
We don't.
Okay. And utilities clerk, Misty.
Couple things to report. First of all, we'll start with the delinquents, and I apologize for your poor copy. We'll get some ink, and it'll be a little better next time. But it's showing 22,000. Of course, if you look on there, there's one account on there that's 2,600. If you go up about 5 lines, will be discussed by the mayor and the water and wastewater committee regarding that one. So that's included in the total at the bottom. We had over 200 payments processed today with the help of the mayor. I appreciate that. Couldn't have done it without you. And there's credit card payments due to, that's not taken off of here yet. We had some system issues for a few days, actually 4 days. We did have a computer tech come in today and give us some quotes, and some upgrading our equipment. Some drivers are bad, I guess it's probably too much information, but we'll get all that working and get it up to date. And the training for the new meter system, that will start in October. So there will be some letters and calls going out to replace some meters. And so we'll start our first reads with those new meters in October. We'll do dual readings with our old system and new system just to make sure we work out any quirks or kinks that may be in there.
There's not an official date for that?
No, no, it'll be when we read in October. I don't know the exact dates. I don't know the exact dates of the training yet. I was going to be at the end of this month, but I'm going to be off for a week. And that's all I have to report.
It was, we were humping today, weren't we? Woo! Man, lots of
Probably will be
people.
tomorrow too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just not it's
Still a lot of
time
walk.
just goes by, and
Yeah.
Missy,
you know, you've been there, you've helped.
there's still a lot of people walking in there and do they did Maryland more than there is usually?
Yeah, I think people are starting to get used to the days that we're open.
Okay.
Again, we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the window. But we're open 5 days a week, you know, through the calls and things, but the window's only open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 to 4. Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
That takes us to zoning and building. Mr. Hale.
We had, this would have been for August, 2 variance cases, a zoning case, and a building permit. That's all that was issued. Probably one of the biggest things is the planning committee had sought to determine if they could get some help with this map. We were able to make some phone calls and get that in process. A revised map has been sent to us, and planning committee in October will look at it and see what they can do to take it a step further and start getting it defined so that we don't have as much difficulty like we did with Mr. Kitchen in rezoning cases. So the zoning map's probably largest projects being worked on right now because it's really important for the village to get that updated. So hopefully in the 1st of October, planning committee and myself will be able to work through that a little bit. So you got some resolutions on here that affect your zoning text that'll be coming a little bit later. And I think Andy will be able to answer any questions to that might arise. So I probably won't be here for the resolution. So any questions?
Tom, one thing I have noticed since Help People's Home for Their Buyers, you're seeing a lot of people painting their houses, doing a lot of remodeling stuff. I've seen a big difference in the village since April, really, people trying to do.
If you talk to the lumber yards and the big box stores and all those and the Home Depots, they'll tell you that because one thing you can't find is deck material. It's hard to get treated lumber.
I found that out. It's tough.
Places, depending on when you buy, it's been hard to get vinyl siding, and so people are. The people have been home, doing some of their chores around the house for sure, because we certainly are as busy as we can be on the building side of things. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Fiscal Officer Courtney.
Okay, I just have a few updates, and I advised one of the residents that I would report this during tonight's meeting, which I think is good for all of the public to hear and understand, is he received a letter stating that Mount Sterling, Ohio area drive for America's Police and Sheriff's Emergency Equipment Storage. And through this letter, it basically states that, excuse me, that they are asking for money to be donated to, and it has a sheriff's and it has Mount Sterling on it. So it's like kind of like a formal letter with a signature on the back and Ohio Governor DeWine backing it as well. And saying, here's all of your, money that you can donate. Here's what we're going to use it for. So I did reach out to Sheriff Swaney and ask him the legality of this letter, and he says that no, they do not receive funds for this type of equipment, or they're asking in this one to have, due to the protests and protection of the sheriff's departments and local police departments, that they're asking that you donate to this United States Deputy Sheriff's Association, USDSA. And it explains everything about how they would get this protective equipment and so forth. So I just want to make sure that the public is aware of this, that this is not a legit. So please do not send them any money when you get this type of letter, okay? Again, Sheriff Swaney did confirm that they do not receive any of those funds. So when it says Mount Sterling on here, you're not really sending it to Mount Sterling, because Mount Sterling doesn't get any of this money, okay? So I don't know if we want to call it a scam, or if it's a, ploy for, due to what's happening in the world right now, but please pay attention to what you're getting in the mail, because it does have it to address Mount Sterling. And it is Mount Sterling information in it.
Tricky.
And they're getting people's addresses and names. So just be prepared about that. The other topic I wanted to talk about, I did let the fire department know that we did get approved for our CDBG grant. So we are really, really excited about that. And, obviously it's just a step in the right direction to fix infrastructure that has really been neglected for several years now. So I think everybody's excited that we finally got that grant approved. The commissioners did accept that on Tuesday's meeting via telephone conference, and we're just eager to start processing this bid now. So, obviously because it's such a large project, we do have to have certain things that Mr. Whitaker Wright is going to be helping us with on directing us on how we're supposed to apply for it, and signatures and things like that. So that's something to be proud of here, that, as we start to build infrastructure, that, we're making it safe, and, definitely needing to do some of these jobs that we, haven't been able to do. So
Is there a timeline for that then?
it'll be 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So usually when you're granted a grant like this, it usually takes about a year. So again, this grant is for the water line that it starts here at the four-way intersection of London and Columbus Street, and it will go down, I call 56, but it will go down the rest of South London. And we will be putting in some water lines, some hydrant, and just basically having it larger so that those connections are around everybody, that the pressure is, helpful for the fire department too. So it is a safety, precaution as well. So I think everybody's a win, resident-wise and the fire department. So
That's gonna make a lot of parents feel good if the daycare kids there and stuff too, and that's gonna be there. Is it up to us to seek out the bid,
Yes.
or?
Yeah, so like I said, Whitaker Wright's going to be talking to us about that. There is some paperwork that's going to be sent in to the mayor for her signature, and as well as my signature. Approving that the funds are there, because we do have to pay a contribution. It's around $47,000. So that contribution I will have to sign off on. The mayor will sign off on your guys' behalf. You guys have already approved it through that resolution. So there is a step process, and he'll walk us through how to properly do that. Because it is state funding, so they will make sure that what you're paying and what you're doing is definitely by the book. So it'll be a learning process for all of us, because this is our first grant that we were able to apply for. So that's great. Okay, so any questions on any of those? But again, I thank the residents for bringing this to our attention. But just please pay attention to that with those standards. Again, what you guys will be approving today will be the bank reconciliation for the month of August. Okay, so within your reports here, you do have all of your reports for the month of August. So again, these are some repeats. I won't go through all of them because I've already been through 2 of those reports in August with you guys. But again, everything is in standing, everything is in the positive. There's a few things that we will be presenting, so for the public's knowledge, we will be having a few work sessions, finance work sessions, to go through some budgets. So as we soon approach the end of the year, we will be approving a 2021 budget for all of funds so that we can operate for the next year. Again, minutes are taken in those meetings, and we're also going to be approving a general fund budget for the remainder of 2020. So there's going to be a lot of budget that you're going to hear me talk about. Again, legislation for all of you to approve. Again, we are still working with the state in order to get us out of financial emergency. Again, we have cleared those comments. As we move forward, we are just now wanting to see what we can allow to afford. So again, these grants that we're talking about, and I believe some of you guys will be talking about in your committee meetings what our wish lists are and what those items are. So I'm eager to see what 2021 brings us, and hopefully we can start showing and building on, what our dreams have always been and making Mount Sterling, good. So again, any questions on these reports? Again, these are repeats, so I'm not going to go through most of these. But again, you guys received these packets on Friday. I don't have any other additional comments or concerns that are on here. But again, we're going to be talking about budget. So in the next couple months, we're going to definitely have some more meetings. So if anybody wants to, tune into minutes or attend those meetings, I will post those online of when they are.
Would you like to ask for your motion then?
Yes, so I would like to ask a motion for the approval of the appropriation status, the revenue status, the receipt listing, payment listing report, the comparison of budget and appropriated, the cash summary by fund report, the reader report, and the bank reconciliation for the...
Got that motion.
Seconded.
Roll call?
Okay, sorry then. So Andy, or David was the first motion, Andy was second. David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Okay, motion was passed. Also, what I will be passing around is the bank reconciliation that you will see on here. The only thing that again, as we start to clean up for the end of the year, there is always this outstanding balance, which was before all of our time. So when they did an audit, again, this is spoken about a lot during the Financial Commission Committee meetings, is that when the audit went through, there was items on here that they could not find. Basically what was happening, in short, is that the village issued checks, okay, to vendors, to people for maybe water bill, rebates or, refunds, but they were never cashed. So they were able to identify what the checks are, but they never were cashed because they were way too old. And most checks they void within the 90 days. And this was the case on this. So I will be bringing forward legislation to create an unclaimed fund account, which means that these monies will go into the unclaimed funds, and then potentially after a certain period of time, it just goes back into the general fund. Okay, so this has always been a note on there. It's nothing new, but if most the public or people don't really look, at why this is on here all the time, that's what it is. But it's really highly discussed in those financial commission meetings. One other note that I want to make certain on this is that there was a bank issue down at our local branch where they were not able to identify a check that we sent down there. So it was just a mistake, I believe, on, it was not processed through the check reader. So they made the correction on that. Okay, so they took it out and then they put it back in because it must have been found or must have been recalculated. So you will see a difference of $50 on there. But it was no effect here. It was no effect to the resident. It just looks like it was just in limbo when we sent it down there. So if I can ask everybody to please sign all of these copies. There are 3 pages that will be sent around to you. And I'll pick that up at the end.
Okay. That takes us to committee reports. Finance, Becky?
Well, after all that, I really don't have a lot to say. Good standing. That it's great that all of the accounts are in the positive and on track to meet the budget and everything like that. We normally have our finance meeting the first Wednesday of every month at 2 o'clock, which would put us October the 7th, but that's tentative. We're waiting to talk to Jim and about a couple of things, and we may end up having just a spur-of-the-moment finance meeting. But for now, it's October the 7th at 2.
Pleasant Township, Melanie?
They held a special meeting on September 8th. Basically, there was a few fellows had started, so I kind of walking on the tail end of it. But Gary Neff had resigned from his seat, and on the 8th, they appointed him back to that position. So they did that on the 8th, and then nothing new. They were talking about getting the snow plows ready for winter, and and they were budgeting to replace their motors. That was about it. Oh, I did tell them about community cleanup and asked them if they would, help out with that. October 18th and 18th?
17?
17th, October 17th.
That's a Thursday. The 18th is October.
It should be that Saturday.
Yeah.
October the 17th is what I have. On a Saturday. October 17th.
Oh, look. I must have
We can just come back to the other one.
So it is the 17th, right?
At
Okay.
9 a.m. and we have a question mark on it.
The question mark is not if it's going to happen, it's just what time we end.
That's right.
It's definitely happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Squad would be Jay, and he's not here to, I don't assume anybody has a report.
He did not have a
Okay. Fire, Craig?
Well, we done the minutes and bills, and then in old business, the fire safety house they finally decided they were going to advertise it in the Ohio Township magazine. The new tanker is ahead of schedule by 4 weeks, they said. The old tanker has been sold to Liberty Township in Drake County. And then also the ISO, which is the Insurance Service Office, is coming to inspect the fire department. And what this is basically they look around town and say everything's open. And right now, Mount Sterling's fire, or Tri-County, is rated a 5. 10's the best, 1 is the worst. And
Right in the middle, huh?
so we're in the middle. But one thing, this was done in 2015, and the the chief was thinking, because we got the new water plant, that this will up our rating. And this insurance thing is actually, they rate them, but it also goes to rate our insurances, how our rates are affected by it. So the higher that number gets, the better our rates are. And that's pretty much all we talked about. And the next meeting is this coming September the 24th, 8 o'clock.
They say how soon they would find out what their rating would be after the,
I think they said, it probably takes about a year.
oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Okay, thank you. Water, wastewater, also Craig.
Wednesday we talked about, last Wednesday we talked about the budget and possible things we need to do about that. We also took a closer look at the delinquency and how we can get that under control. And we got the results back from the smoke test about what needs to be done and how we go about sending out letters to the residents of the results. And October the 14th will be our next meeting at 4 o'clock.
Streets, Andy.
Yes, we met the week before last. We had a couple big things on the agenda, of course, being the next steps we wanted to do in regards to pothole patching around town and what would be prioritized next for getting an estimate on future work, now that some of the original drainage issues on London Street have been dealt with. I'm also pleased to report that 2-hour parking signs have been posted downtown, so that's fantastic. And then the major issue, which the committee discussed at length, was ultimately going to result in an open house on speed controls in the village sometime in October. We're still working on the date for that, but it's expected to be mid-October. This is to solicit public feedback on things like stop signs, speed bumps, changing of speed in general, so going from 25 to 35 and 35 to 25, that sort of stuff, as there's been a lot of, concern recently about how fast things are, and residents have, on a couple different occasions, asked us to install speed bumps in a couple places, so I think it would be pretty wise to have an open house for us to understand the support for that, and more importantly, where we'd put them. So all these things that come into play, it goes into our sign initiative where we say, hey, if we need to put a stop sign up or we need to replace a sign, typically we're on that pretty good. And this is one more step to that. We really need to get feedback because these things are permanent. So
That is October
Okay, thank you. It's October 14th at 7 PM in the evening. To be real clear, that it is not concurrent with the street meeting, which is typically about 8 AM in the morning on the Wednesday. So 7 PM, October 14th, speed bumps, stop signs. We'd love to hear feedback. We'd like to hear more about what's going on. It'll be an open session for everybody to attend. Please come. We'd like to hear more.
Great.
Andy, I heard that you, those 2-hour signs are all posted for the 2-hour parking. That is awesome. Are the sheriff aware that they've been posted and, yes, and enforcement hopefully will
So
Hard on
one
that.
thing for residents to be aware of is that we will be working on a list of the, which curbs need to be painted and which stripes need to be updated. So those are not done, but they're next on the list.
Great.
Parks and Rec, Melanie.
We had a very productive meeting. We approved to get the field 5, I believe. It's just, is wet when it rains. So we are gonna get the tiles put out there really soon. We got a tow behind sprayer, because the one that we have is currently broke, so it was cheaper just to buy a new one. We got ground up to go in the hat. Jack's been working hard to keep the weeds down since there hasn't been a lot of action out there in the field, mowing and things like that. We also had Jeff, there was some playground equipment broken, so Jeff was gonna pull out a little spring sticking out from the little bouncy course or whatever. Somebody sat on the road. And then we worked on our 2021 budget, the things that we are gonna need, like dirt for the fields, that kind of stuff, so we're gonna get that ready in the next meeting. We talked about trick or treat. I wanna make a motion tonight for us to have trick or treat on October 31st from 5:30 to 7:30. And then we're gonna play Hocus Pocus on the big blow-up screen. After we're gonna trick or treat at 7:30 out at the park. Very informal, everybody's follow CDC guidelines. Come if you want, stay home and eat candy if you don't. We did purchase a movie this year and we would like to be able to play it.
I'll second your motion.
So Melanie's first.
Is that on a Thursday?
A Saturday.
Saturday.
That's a Saturday, so that's a change people should probably be aware of, that we will be having it over the weekend and not during the weeknight.
What we've been doing the last several years is having it on the 31st, no matter when it fell.
Okay.
And it has been a weeknight for years.
Yep.
And now it just happens to fall on a Saturday.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion was placed by Melanie, seconded by Becky. Would you like a roll call?
Yes, please.
David.
Yes, you gotta have it for Batman's and Little Wonder Woman, definitely.
Melanie.
Yes.
Craig.
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
Andy.
Yes.
Motion has been passed.
Anything else? Record of retention, Andy.
Yes, we met last Wednesday, and the fruits of our labor are actually sitting on the table right here. We did go through, we're trying to go through more boxes, more closets, get all of the old stuff out, review it to make sure we need to keep it. We actually did find a number of things we do need to keep, and then start marshaling stuff like this, ultimately for either going to the Ohio Historical Society or for rolling off and for shredding. So we are making progress. We will be meeting the second Wednesday, second Wednesday of the month, pardon me, we have a lot of things on the first Wednesday. Records retention is on the second Wednesday at 8 a.m. to discuss another set of records. And if anyone is interested in how all of this works, we're happy to talk with them, but we're starting to get things rolling here.
Andy, have you found anything of historical value from the early history of the town?
Sadly, no. I'd really love to. I'd really love it if we did, but we have a lot of old water bills. Would you like to see those?
Okay.
Those are very exciting, I can tell you. No, I wish we did, and anything that is identified like that, like maps, for example, we've already saved off to the side. So all the building of the old water plant and everything like that, we've already saved. So those are identified, and we will either keep them or we'll give them to the Historical Society.
Very good. nuisance and abatement, does anybody have a report in,
I had it, yeah.
Oh, do you?
I-
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say, if nobody had it, I.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You have the
All right,
notes.
girls.
You have the notes.
Okay, so nuisance and abatement, now feel free to jump in when you don't have, or when I don't have. Okay, so we talked about, of course, a budget for 2021. There wasn't much that they had asked for. I know we've been throwing around, you know, if there is tall grass that we would have a company come in and do that, but that was not something that we were to look forward to for 2021 at the time. We also talked about old business and violations. I know that Jay and I have been working on going around town and tagging properties, vehicles, grass, and rubbish. So we have had a lot of success on that. We have also been giving those tags to the sheriff's department, so they've been delivering that. There has been successes, so we talked about those successes. And we are waiting for a response back from the attorney to talk about fee schedules. And in violation if they don't get corrected per the ordinances, and how we need to move forward on that. So we talked about that. Again, the cleanup day is October the 17th, which is on a Saturday, and it's at 9 a.m. And we are accepting any donations. I know Becky, has been talking to, several people about possibly volunteering. So if you do want to volunteer, please reach out to Town Hall or to one of the committee members that's on there. That's Mr. Drake, Ms. Martin, and Mr. Petty. So, and you can reach out to the mayor if you have any questions about that.
I just want to throw in with that, I'm excited. We did get a dumpster donated, and he did say, someone had mentioned at one of the meetings about it maybe being centrally located. We can put it out in front of Town Hall, we can put it across at the Mad Hatter parking lot for the day, whatever is good with everybody. And then I also spoke to someone today with the county that assured me if we want to collect tires that day, he will get rid of them. So that's something else good that we can put on our list. And, I guess we could take them up to the garage at the time, and then he will make arrangements to come and get them all.
Great.
So that's,
Better.
That's really good.
that's good.
And we're working with some other donors as well. A great idea was mentioned is that the, like Madison Plains alumni, I know that they've been active, when you see the reunions and stuff, so I'm reaching out to him, which is a continuous donor from Mount Sterling and greatly appreciated, and see if he can get the alumni to want to come and do a project or, to help out with, any lifting or volunteering or anything like that. But if you do have, and as a reminder, if you do have something at your house that you just can't get to, or, and you need help with helping with that, task or that project, please call into Town Hall. Like I said, I don't know how many volunteers there are, so I don't want to promise anything, but if you do have something that maybe, you can't get to, we'd be glad to put you on the list and see if we can have that accomplished.
Okay, very good. Block Watch, David.
With the Block Watch, we're looking forward to working with the new safety group, and the Block Watch is preparing for Halloween. You heard what Jack talked about. Even in these times now, you got to watch 24/7. We're hate to say it, there's an element out there you got to be prepared for all the time. So as soon as the safety group gets together and get their volunteers, I'm really eager to work with them as a big group and we get together. And I love what Courtney brought up. I got one of those letters, but there's another one going out from that claims it's the DVA, Disabled Veterans. The disabled veterans do not send you letters, they do not do this and that for asking for money. And there's been phone calls of this going on, and there's another one asking for campaign money. Do not listen to them. And I know people probably get tired of hearing this. Slam the dang receiver down on their ear, or just don't answer the phone if it comes up a number you don't like. And I'm really looking forward when we get the safety committee going. Thank you.
Okay, very good. That takes us to ordinances and resolutions.
Okay, the first ordinance is ordinance 2020-05, an ordinance accepting the 2021 estimated entitlement for the local government support fund, and this is on the third reading. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Can I ask for a motion to be placed on the third reading?
You got that?
David?
I'll second it.
Andy?
Roll call?
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And may I ask for a motion for passage for ordinance 2020-05?
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Okay, so Craig was first, Becky was second.
Yes. Roll call?
Call. David?
Yes.
Melanie? Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2020-05 has passed.
Okay.
Ordinance 2020-06, which is an ordinance to repeal section 1271.07.03 of the Village Codified Ordinances titled Accessory Structures. Again, this is on the third reading. May I have a motion?
You have that motion?
Okay, Andy was first, Melanie was second.
Roll call?
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And may I ask for a motion for passage for ordinance 2020-06?
You have that motion?
David?
Second?
Andy?
Roll call?
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2020-06 has passed. Okay, the next one is ordinance 2020-07, an ordinance to amend section 1281.03 of the Village Codified Ordinances entitled General Requirements for All District. Again, this is on the third reading. May I have a motion?
I'll second.
Melanie? Craig?
Roll call?
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Ask for a motion for passage for ordinance 2020-07.
Have that motion?
David?
Second?
Andy?
Roll call?
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2020-07 has passed. Okay, and again, ordinance 2020-08, an ordinance to amend the village schedule fees in section 1242.08 of the Village Codified Ordinances and declaring this as an emergency. Andy, did you want to talk to that, or?
Yeah, just very briefly, this was a subject of discussion at the Building and Zoning Committees, and it's an attempt to get us modernized and cohesively approaching all of our fee schedule. As everyone is very much aware, we're in the process of building. As like Mr. Hale mentioned, we are filling in a lot of the blanks and cleaning up the fee schedule. Again, this was all done during public discussion during the building and zoning meetings, so we welcome all of that, and I think getting it into effect as soon as we can makes a lot of sense, given that there were actually holes in the fee schedule itself. Literally, there were no fees listed, so we got that squared away.
And if I may add, this fee schedule has not been updated in over 15 years.
Oh, yes. It goes without saying that this is one of those neglected things that we're just trying to get rationalized here.
Okay, so may I have a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance 2020-08?
Got that motion? I'll second.
Craig?
Roll call?
David?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes again.
Okay. Sorry, I was out loud. Okay, so David, yes. Melanie, yes. Craig, yes. Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And may I have a motion to place this on the first, second, and third readings?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Melanie was first. Craig? David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And a motion for passage for 2020-.
You have that motion?
I'll second.
David? Andy? David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2020-08 has passed. And lastly, the ordinance for 2020-09, an ordinance amending the rules of council. This is being passed as an emergency. Again, the village council has reviewed the rules of council and have made edits to those, adding a few items to that and removing a few items. And this would need to be passed as an emergency for the efforts of us following what we would like to see moving forward. So can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
One brief comment very quickly. The rules of council are one of those things that you can, just so we're clear, everyone is on the same page, you can change them if you want to. We don't love changing them. We don't really want to do it, but because the thing was so patchwork over the last 20 years, we felt like it was a good thing to do with input from our citizen advisor over there. We've really got a good set of rules today which reflect how we actually operate and what the committee structure really is. So thanks to all of those who contributed to this. I'd like to thank Bob in particular. He put a lot of effort into this, and I think that this is stands us in good stead starting not only today, but also when we have to do this again on January 1. So thank you very much for all of that.
Thank you.
Okay, so may I have a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance 2020-09?
Have that motion.
David? Melanie? David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And may I have a motion to place this on the first, second, and third readings?
I'll give you the motion.
Becky?
I'll second that.
Andy? David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And motion for passage.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Craig? David? David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And ordinance 2020-09 has passed.
Woo!
So, yeah. we have-
Making some progress here.
Yes, it's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Very good stuff. All right, that takes us to roundtable. Does anybody have anything for roundtable?
Yes, as you know, this past Friday was the anniversary of 9/11, and we put our flag here at the town hall at half-mast. Mitzi and I made sure it was there, and we made it at half-mast, and we must always remember the sacrifices of what these people did. I remember the plane that morning that was heading to there, and they had to crash in Pennsylvania. And we always take a moment and just pray for our country at times. And also, it was 233 years ago that our Constitution was established. Everybody knows I'm a history buff, and it was in 1787. And this Constitution has stood for a lot of things. I know our country sometimes has issues, but thank God we have this Constitution. And the very last man to sign that was Benjamin Franklin. It would be one of his last processes he do before he passed away. And that's all I got to say.
Anyone else?
Just a real quick thing about the beautiful flower pots that are lining the streets. I want to mention again, some of them are starting to die. The summer blooms are starting to fade. We have been looking for a nursery for the moms to put in them, and it is a fundraiser for the Chamber of Commerce, which is your local businesses. So just want to encourage anyone, if you do want to sponsor one of those baskets, to get a hold of your Chamber of Commerce members or anyone here at the town hall, and they'll pass that along.
Do you know what the cost is?
It's
or-
$50, and you'll get a tag on that basket, and it can be either your name, your business's name, in memory of name, but it'll just be a little wooden tag that'll hang on a basket. And they'll stay where they're at up and down London Street.
Don't we have another shop hop or
Oh, yeah, there's a street market
street market?
coming up the 26th. So that's 2 weeks, something like that, less than 2 weeks. And there'll be some vendors, and they'll be all spaced appropriately up and down the streets, and a couple of food trucks. And if anybody wants to get in on that, we still have space. If you just want your organization, I know the Park and Recs talked about possibly having a table out there. I forget what we were going to promote. Maybe the movie night and Halloween. I don't know. Just I forget what we had talked about. But yeah, if your church or your organization or anybody wants to come out there and have a spot to talk to the public, it's a good time. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Okay. I say we adjourn the meeting. It's 8:01. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonder if we sounded like we had helium today.
Right, yeah.
Remember